God the Creator, the eternal, infinite, all that is, long ago already provided the peoples of the black vibration with all the means and resources to stand on their own 2 feet and create the new civilization that is the glorious, triumphant, divine fulfillment of their divine mission. To ask for reparations from the rest of humanity instead of standing up and taking full ownership of and full responsibility for the utilization of the amazing resources that the divine all that is has long since provided the peoples of the black vibration, is to damn our souls and put ourselves back into slavery for eons. That is why the very idea of us, the peoples of the black vibration, asking for and receiving reparations from the West for what is, after all, our fulfillment of our divine mission, the fulfillment of our divine destiny, is totally sacrilegious and should not be countenanced.
Africa, Kebulan. Africa, Kebulan. Africa, Kebulan. United as one. United as one. United as one.
Welcome back, my dear warriors of the black vibration, and welcome to those who resonate with the black vibration, and welcome their guests and passers-by. This is part 7 of an urgent message from My Trinity for Africa and Africa in Diaspora, as it is vitally important and urgent that the peoples of the black vibration of Africa and Africa in Diaspora awaken, remember their divine mission, rise, and fulfill that divine mission now. In this part 7, I bring a very urgent and important message about financial reparations to the peoples of the black vibration in Africa and in Africa in Diaspora, which I will also post as a separate subject on this channel. The message is as follows. It is vitally important that the peoples of the black vibration of Africa and Africa in Diaspora fully understand and accept that to demand and or receive financial reparation for their challenging experiences through their periods of enslavement, colonialism, neo-colonialism, and ill treatment down the ages and up to today, in all of which at times they were complicit, would be a deeply sacrilegious act. Dearly beloved peoples of the black vibration of Africa and Africa in Diaspora, to truly understand the importance of this message, let me repeat here the pertinent parts of the information that I was given by My Trinity in parts 1 and 2 of this series. And that is the following. The first extrusion of God the Creator, the eternal, infinite, all that is, into matter and into form was in the black frequency of vibration. And the first extrusion into the form of human beings on earth was and are the peoples of the black vibration. The black vibration is the camouflage that God the Creator, eternal, infinite, cloaked itself in as God in action, as its golden radiance was simply too powerful, too blinding to be looked at by the beings of created creation and especially those of the third dimensional physical reality. Therefore, as the first extrusion of God the Creator, the eternal, infinite, all that is, into the matter and form of created creation, and into the matter and form of the human being, the black vibration is the closest to the original frequency and characteristics of God, the Creator, the eternal, infinite, all that is. As such, the black vibration has the capacity to withstand the most. Let me repeat that. The black vibration has the capacity to withstand the most. It is therefore in the black vibration that God the Creator, the eternal, infinite, all that is, has the freedom to practice and experience in physical reality the fullest range. Again, let me repeat that. The fullest range of the archetypal divine living truths or principles, all of which involve feeling thought and all the attributes that come into play with feeling thought, such as, for example, self-awareness, awareness, recognition, logic, emotions, passion, action, reaction, response, and interaction, and to experience all extremes, to be sublime, to be good, to be bad, to be ugly, and then bring all these divine energies back into divine dynamic balance, an eternal, infinite adventure. Thus, God the Creator, the eternal, infinite, all that is, eternally explores and discovers itself and its creation in infinite ways. In doing so, it keeps the energies of creation in perpetual motion, and so maintains and sustains its created creation. Thus, God the Creator, the eternal, infinite, all that is eternally in service to itself and is eternally in service to all of its created creation. And the black vibration provides God the Creator, eternal, infinite, the greatest capacity to do so. Consequently, service is embedded in and inseparable from the DNA of the black vibration, and the divine destiny, the divine spiritual signature or blueprint of the black vibration is that of divine service. Let me repeat that. Service is embedded in and inseparable from the DNA of the black vibration, and the divine destiny, the divine spiritual signature or blueprint of the black vibration is that of divine service. Naturally, however, this service is not a static state of being. It is a divine attribute that involves growth and evolution, starting from its lowest form and evolving to its highest form. Therefore, this divine service takes the form of leadership by service, which then evolves and expands into service by leadership. Before incarnating on earth, all human beings who at the level of the higher soul self choose to incarnate in the black vibration understand that they have come to earth to be in divine service to the rest of humanity, to created creation, and to creation, all within the context of the game of duality, unification, and integration in divine dynamic balance and its duality matrix. Therefore, on 3D Earth, and starting with leadership by service, the lowest form of divine service is service as slaves, a state of being fueled by fear and filled with pain and suffering, and in which the peoples of the black vibration are totally disempowered, their faith tested at every turn, and their disunity and lack of courage, making it easy for them to hand their freedom over to others or to have their freedom taken away by others. And then evolving from slavery and expanding into service by leadership. In this state of being, the peoples of the black vibration fully awaken, remember, and understand that a true master is a servant of the people, and that true leaders lead by serving, but now no longer as slaves, but as ascended, enlightened exemplifiers who lead by example. In this awakened and enlightened state of being, the peoples of the black vibration fulfill their divine mission by exemplifying in embodied form and through lived experience the 7 divine archetypal living truths or principles of their divine mission. And in this awakened and ascended state of being, the peoples of the black vibration finally arrive at the grand realization, understanding, and acceptance of the fact that they are God, the Creator, the eternal, infinite, all that is, in action, loving and nurturing itself and all its creation, and fulfilling that through its experiences here on earth. There is no greater divine mission. There is no greater divine destiny. And there is no greater divine honor on this earth, in this universe, in created creation, than to undertake and fulfill this divine mission and fulfill our divine destiny. The peoples of the black vibration have exemplified leadership by service, starting from the lowest level of service as slaves, and have experienced the most sustained, profound cruelties of enslavement for centuries, for millennia, and have more than fulfilled that aspect of their divine mission. The peoples of the black vibration of Africa and Africa in Diaspora must now awaken, remember, and fully understand this. The peoples of the black vibration must now awaken, remember, and complete this glorious divine mission by making the quantum leap from the slavery of leadership by service to that of eternal, infinite Creator God in action, that is the state of service by leadership. What the peoples of the Black vibration of Africa and Africa in diaspora must focus on and do today is get out of victim mode, understand the higher divine meaning and purpose behind everything in their divine history, hold their head up high, bring forth their deepest courage, sense of self-worth, pride, satisfaction, and fulfillment in everything they have done and experienced on this earth, and then turn all emotions of trauma, anger, fear, and self-pity into courage, self-determination, and implicit trust in themselves as Trinity God in action, and then envision and create a new civilization that exemplifies the divine meaning and divine purpose of their divine mission. In doing so, the peoples of the Black vibration of Africa and Africa in diaspora bring their divine mission to a glorious, triumphant, divine outcome and fulfill their divine destiny. Let me repeat, there is no greater divine mission. There is no greater divine destiny. And there is no greater honor on this earth, in this universe, in created creation, than to undertake and fulfill this divine mission and fulfill our divine destiny. Consequently, the peoples of the Black vibration in Africa and Africa in diaspora should never ever contemplate or speak about financial reparations for all the challenging experiences that we have undergone here on earth. We are to be paid by whom? For what? For fulfilling our divine destiny? What a sacrilegious thought, and what a sacrilegious act that would be by the peoples of the Black vibration. In the first place, and purely for argument's sake, let us stoop so low as to consider the payment of reparations to the peoples of the Black vibration, and realize that there is no amount of money on this earth, in this universe, in created creation, that could compensate the peoples of the Black vibration for all their suffering and challenging experiences on this earth. And so it should be, because, to come to the second point, this experience on earth was and is a divine mission of the highest order. Let me say it again. There is no greater divine mission. There is no greater divine destiny. And there is no greater honor on this earth, in this universe, in created creation, than to undertake and fulfill this divine mission and fulfill our divine destiny. Secondly, God the Creator, the eternal, infinite, all that is, long ago already provided the peoples of the Black vibration with all the means and resources to stand on their own 2 feet and create the new civilization that is the glorious, triumphant, divine fulfillment of their divine mission. To ask for reparations from the rest of humanity instead of standing up and taking full ownership of and full responsibility for the utilization of the amazing resources that the divine all that is has long since provided the peoples of the black vibration, is to damn our souls and put ourselves back into slavery for eons. That is why the very idea of us, the peoples of the black vibration, asking for and receiving reparations from the West for what is, after all, our fulfillment of our divine mission, the fulfillment of our divine destiny, is totally sacrilegious and should not be countenanced. Once again, the peoples of the black vibration must awaken and understand that there is no greater divine mission. There is no greater divine destiny. And there is no greater honor on this earth, in this universe, in created creation, than to undertake and fulfill this divine mission and fulfill our divine destiny. This concludes part 7 of this message. Part 8 concludes this series of urgent messages and information received from My Trinity for the peoples of the black vibration of Africa and Africa in Africa al-Kebulan, Africa al-Kebulan, Africa al-Kebulan. United as one, united as one, united as one. By the power of 3, the peoples of the black vibration are enlightened, sovereign, and free. And they fulfill their divine mission, and they fulfill their divine destiny. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is in golden dust. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Africa, Kebulan. Africa, Kebulan. Africa, Kebulan. United as one. United as one. United as one. By the power of 3, we the peoples of the black vibration of Africa and of Africa in the diaspora are enlightened, sovereign and free. And we fulfill our divine mission, and we fulfill our divine destiny. Africa, Kebulan. Africa, Kebulan. Africa, Kebulan. United as one.